There is such a profession called robbing swindlers, and this is my profession. I didn't think I'd find my wife here tonight, dressed like that, with him, doing that. Listen to the story to the end. You will be shocked by the whole chain of events that I carefully unraveled and will now tell you. I'm frozen in place at the entrance of Emerald Lounge, one of those upscale bars where drinks cost more than a decent meal. Luna's perfume lingers in the air. I am not a detection dog, but that familiar scent mingles with expensive cologne. That definitely isn't my fave. My wife is draped across the booth in the corner, wearing a dress I've never seen before, something that sparkles under the dim lights and shows more skin than it covers. Her hand rests on the arm of a man in a suit worth more than my monthly paycheck. Richard Coleman, real estate developer, suspected money launderer, target of our department's investigation for the past 3 months. You've got to be kidding me, I mutter to myself, ducking behind a pillar before she spots me. This wasn't how tonight was supposed to go. I was trailing Coleman to gather evidence on his latest scheme, not to catch my wife of 5 years practically in his lap, laughing at whatever garbage he's whispering in her ear. My partner Darius's voice crackles through my earpiece. Statham, you in position? Coleman's contact should show up any minute. I swallow hard. Yeah, I'm here, but we got a situation. What kind of situation? Personal. Luna's here. A pause. You're Luna? Unless I got another wife I don't know about. Well, that's unfortunate timing. Darius says, master of understatement as always. You want to take over? I watch as Luna throws her head back laughing at something Coleman says. 5 years of marriage, and I haven't made her laugh like that in at least 3. No, I say finally. I'm staying. Just give me a minute. I slip my wedding ring off and pocket it. Professional habit when working undercover. But tonight it feels different. 6 hours later, I'm sitting in our darkened living room waiting for her to come home. Our apartment isn't much. A 2-bedroom in a decent part of Houston. Luna always called it cozy when we first moved in, which I later learned was a polite way of saying disappointingly small. The front door opens at 2:17 a.m. Luna's heels click against the hardwood as she tries to sneak in quietly. I flip on a lamp beside me. Good night. She jumps, hand flying to her chest. Jesus, John, you scare me half to death. She's still wearing that dress, though it looks slightly disheveled now. Why are you sitting in the dark like some kind of movie villain? Where were you, Luna? Girls' night with Melissa and Kate. I told you yesterday. The lie rolls off her tongue smooth as silk. Funny, I say, taking a sip from my glass of whiskey. I could have sworn I saw you at Emerald Lounge with Richard Coleman. Her eyes widen for just a fraction of a second before she composes herself. Who? Richard Coleman. Real estate guy. About yay high. I hold my hand above my head. Wears suits that probably cost more than our car. Oh, she says, waving dismissively while kicking off her heels. He's just one of my online students. We ran into each other, and he offered to buy me a drink. Completely innocent. One of your students. I repeat flatly. Yes, for my expressionist dance class. He's trying to get in touch with his emotional side. She walks to the kitchen, opens the fridge, and peers inside like she's actually hungry at 2 a.m. And Melissa and Kate? Where were they during this innocent drink? They left early. Melissa wasn't feeling well. Luna grabs a bottle of water and turns to face me, leaning against the counter. Why are you interrogating me? Did something happen at work? Work. Right. The job she thinks I have. Insurance fraud investigator. Not entirely untrue. Just several shades away from the full picture. I don't work for an insurance company. I work for a specialized government unit that infiltrates and dismantles large-scale fraud operations. The kind that ruin lives. The kind that someone like Richard Coleman runs. Nothing happened at work. I say, just wondering why my wife is drinking with strange men and lying about it. Luna rolls her eyes dramatically. It was nothing. God, you're being ridiculous. She closes the fridge door with more force than necessary. I'm going to bed. Don't stay up all night brooding like Batman. As she walks past me toward our bedroom, I catch another whiff of that cologne. My stomach knots. He's married, you know. I call after her. Wife and 2 kids in River Oaks. Luna pauses, then turns slowly. What are you accusing me of exactly? I don't know. I say honestly. You tell me. She stares at me for a long moment, then shakes her head. I'm too tired for this. We'll talk in the morning when you're not being paranoid and weird. The bedroom door closes behind her with a soft click. Morning comes with no resolution. Luna's side of the bed is empty when I wake up. A note on the kitchen counter tells me she's gone to an early yoga class, then straight to the studio to record content for her online classes. I call Darius as I pour myself coffee. "Hey, man," he answers on the second ring. "You okay after last night?" "I'll live," I say, though I'm not entirely convinced. "Coleman's contact never showed?" "Nope. Looks like they got spooked or changed the meat. We're back to square one." I take a gulp of coffee, wincing as it burns my throat. I need to know what my wife is doing with him. Darius is quiet for a moment. "You sure about that?" "What's that supposed to mean?" "Sometimes knowing everything isn't better, John. Sometimes it's just more painful." I grip the phone tighter. "She's my wife, Darius." "I know, man. I know." He sighs. "Look, technically I can't authorize surveillance for personal reasons. I'm not asking for official surveillance. I just need to know if she's involved in this scheme somehow. What if Coleman is using her to get to me? What if she's in danger and doesn't know it?" Even as I say it, I know I'm reaching. Luna in that dress, laughing, touching Coleman's arm. That wasn't a woman in danger. That was a woman enjoying herself. "All right," Darius finally says, "I'll help you, but we keep this between us, off the books. And if things get complicated, we pull the plug. Deal? Deal." I hang up and stare out the window at the Houston skyline. 5 years ago, I met Luna at a charity gala. I was working undercover. She was catering the event, performing one of her expressive dances between courses. I remember how alive she seemed, how her entire body told a story her mouth never needed to speak. After her performance, she'd slipped outside for a cigarette, and I followed, drawn to her energy like a moth to flame. She looked me up and down and said, "Let me guess, insurance?" And I'd laugh because my cover that night was actually as a pharmaceutical sales rep. But somehow she'd seen through that to what I actually was: safe, secure, boring. Something like that, I'd replied, and she'd smile like we were already sharing a private joke. 3 months later, I was pulling her out of a bad situation with an abusive ex-boyfriend who turned out to be running a small-time credit card scam. I'd helped her file the restraining order, found her a new apartment, held her when she cried about how she'd been so stupid, so blind. 6 months after that, we were married at the courthouse, with Darius as my witness and one of her dancer friends as hers. "My hero," she'd whispered as we exchanged rings. Now I stare into my coffee and wonder if I've been a blind one all along. The next week passes in a painful blur. I tell Luna I'm working on a big case, which isn't a lie. What I don't tell her is that the big case involves her boyfriend and possibly her. Darius and I set up surveillance on both Coleman and Luna. I hate myself for it, but I need to know. She's meeting him again. Darius says over the phone on Friday afternoon. He's parked outside Luna's dance studio. Just got into his Maserati. My heart sinks even though I'm expecting it. Follow them. "You sure you don't want to sit this one out?" "I can handle it." "Just follow them," I repeat, already grabbing my keys. They end up at a riverside restaurant with a patio overlooking the water. I park across the street and watch through binoculars as my wife and Richard Coleman sit at a table for two, sipping champagne. She's wearing a sundress I bought her for her birthday last year. He reaches across the table to touch her hand, and she doesn't pull away. My phone buzzes with a text from Darius. "You shouldn't be here, man." I ignore it. They linger over lunch for nearly 2 hours. When they leave, Coleman's hand rests on the small of her back, guiding her to his car. I follow at a distance as they drive to a high-rise downtown, his corporate office building according to our case files. They disappear inside together, and I sit in my car, gripping the steering wheel until my knuckles go white. Darius calls. "John, go home. This isn't healthy." They went into his office building. I know, I'm still tailing, but you need to step back. "I can't." "You have to. You're too close to this. It's going to mess with your head." My head's already messed with Darius. I snap. My wife is having an affair with our prime suspect. How exactly am I supposed to step back from that? There's silence on the other end, and finally, "I'm sorry, man. I really am." 3 hours later, they emerge. Luna's hair is slightly mussed, her lipstick faded. Coleman kisses her in the parking garage before she gets into her own car. Our car, actually, the one I'm still making payments on. I follow her home, keeping several cars between us. She doesn't notice me. She never notices me these days. At home, Luna is humming as she makes dinner, something she hasn't done in months. She's chopping vegetables when I walk in, barefoot in leggings and one of my old t-shirts, like everything is normal. "Hey, you're home early," she says brightly. "I'm making that pasta you like." I stand in the doorway, watching her. Does she really think I don't know? Or does she just not care? "How was your day?" I ask, my voice surprisingly steady. "Good. The advanced class is really coming along with the new choreography, and I picked up a few new online students." She tosses the vegetables into a pan where they sizzle loudly. "Anyone I know?" Her knife hesitates for just a microsecond before continuing to chop garlic. "Probably not. Mostly bore housewives and stress executives." "Like Richard Coleman?" I say it casually, like I'm asking about the weather. The knife stops completely this time. Luna sets it down slowly and turns to face me, her expression carefully neutral. "I told you he's just a student." "Right. A student you have 3-hour private lessons with in his office." Her eyes widen slightly, then narrow. "Have you been following me? Does it matter? Would you tell me the truth either way?" Luna crosses her arms defensively. "You have no right to spy on me. And you have no right to cheat on me. But here we are." "I'm not," she begins and stops herself. A calculation happens behind her eyes, and her strategy shifts. She steps toward me, softening her voice. "John, honey, it's not what you think. Richard is helping me with a business opportunity. I was going to surprise you once it was finalized." "A business opportunity?" I repeat flatly. "Yes. He's investing in my online platform. We're going to expand, maybe even open a physical studio downtown." She reaches for my hand. "I wanted to wait until everything was signed before telling you. It was going to be a surprise." I look down at her hand, holding mine, the same hand that was touching Coleman earlier today. "So all those meetings, the drinks, the lunch dates, that's all business?" "Exactly." She smiles, relief washing over her face. "Just business." "And I suppose the kissing in the parking garage was just sealing the deal?" Her smile freezes, then crumbles. She drops my hand. "You were watching us." "Answer the question, Luna." She steps back, her expression hardening. "Fine. Yes, okay? Yes, Richard and I have been seeing each other. But it's not just some tawdry affair. He understands me, appreciates my art in a way you never have. I've supported your dancing from day one." "Supported, yes. But understood? Connected with? No." She shakes her head. "You've never really gotten it, John. You nod and smile and say, 'That's nice, honey,' when I talk about my expressive work. But your eyes glaze over. Richard actually engages with it. He sees the deeper meaning." I laugh bitterly. "I'm sure it's your artistic depth he's interested in." "See? This is exactly what I mean. You reduce everything to something base, something simple, because that's how you see the world, black and white, right and wrong." Her voice rises. "Well, life is an insurance claim you can just approve or deny, John. It's messy and complicated, and sometimes people need more than whatever this is." She gestures around our apartment. "So this is my fault?" I ask incredulously. "You're sleeping with another man because our apartment isn't big enough?" "It's not about the apartment," she shouts. "It's about feeling alive. When was the last time you took a risk? When was the last time you surprised me? Everything with you is safe and planned and boring." The word hangs between us like a slap. "You want it safe." I say quietly. "When I met you, you were running from a man who made you feel anything but safe." I was younger then. I needed that stability. She runs her hands through her hair in frustration. "But people change, John. I've changed. I need more now." "More than our marriage vows? More than honesty?" Luna laughs sharply. "Oh, that's rich coming from you. Mister, I'll follow my wife around town." "You want to talk about honesty? Fine. Honestly, I'm suffocating here. Honestly, Richard makes me feel wanted in a way you haven't in years. Honestly, I've been thinking about leaving for months." The pan on the stove starts smoking, the vegetables burning. Neither of us moves to turn it off. "So why didn't you?" I ask. "Why stay if you're so miserable?" She looks away. "It's complicated." "Try me." Luna sighs heavily. "The financial security, for one thing. My business isn't stable enough yet. And I do care about you, John. In my way." "Your way," I repeat. "And what way is that exactly?" "The way where you sleep with other men while I work to pay our bills." "That's not fair." "None of this is fair." I slam my hand on the counter, making her jump. The smoke alarm starts beeping, the burning vegetables filling the kitchen with acrid smoke. I reach over and turn off the burner, then yank the smoking pan off the heat. We stand in silence as the alarm continues its shrill cry. Finally, Luna grabs a dish towel and starts waving it under the detector until it falls quiet. I think, she says carefully, we both need some space to think. Space, I echo hollowly. Yes, I'm going to stay with Melissa for a few days. I wonder if that's code for with Richard, but I'm too tired to ask. Something in me has shut down, gone numb. Fine, do whatever you want. You will anyway. Luna looks at me for a long moment, like she's waiting for me to beg her to stay. When I don't, she nods once and walks to our bedroom, presumably to pack. I sink into a kitchen chair and stare at the ruined dinner, the acrid smell of burned food filling the apartment. It's fitting, really. Everything I thought we had, reduced to smoke and ash. That night, alone in our bed, my phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. When I open it, my stomach drops. It's a photo of Luna entering the lobby of what I recognize as Coleman's downtown condo building. Roller suitcase in tow. The message below it reads, "Thought you should know what your wife's really up to. Not just an affair, she's his accomplice. More proof to come. A friend." I sit up, suddenly wide awake. I stare at my phone, reading the text message for the 20th time. An accomplice? To what exactly? I know Coleman is dirty. We've been building a case against him for months. But Luna involved in his schemes? That doesn't track. Then again, I thought our marriage was solid too. I dial Darius, not caring that it's nearly midnight. "This better be important," he answers, voice thick with sleep. "Someone just sent me a photo of Luna going to Coleman's building. With luggage. Damn." A pause. "I'm sorry, man. That's not all. The message says she's his accomplice." I hear rustling, like he's sitting up in bed. Accomplice? You think Luna's involved in his fraud schemes? I don't know what to think anymore. I admit, but someone out there thinks she is. And they're reaching out to me specifically. "Could be a trap," Darius says. "Someone who knows you're investigating Coleman, trying to compromise you emotionally." I consider this possible. But what if it's legitimate? What if Luna is involved? "You need to report this to Director Walsh. If your wife is connected to our target." "Not yet." I cut him off. "I need more information first." "John, 24 hours, Darius. Give me 24 hours to figure out what's going on before we bring the department into this." He sighs. "Fine, 24 hours. But be careful. If Coleman suspects we're on to him and knows who you really are." I know. The thought sends ice through my veins. What if Luna told Coleman about me? What if she knows what I really do? No, she couldn't. I've been careful all these years, maintained my cover even with her. As far as Luna knows, I work for Meridian Insurance investigating fraud cases. Boring, safe, predictable. I reply to the anonymous text. "Who is this? What proof do you have?" 3 that appear immediately, then, "A concerned party. Meet tomorrow. Blackwater Coffee. 2 p.m. Come alone." I don't sleep that night. Instead, I pull out our case files on Coleman, spreading them across the kitchen table. Richard Coleman, 45, owns 6 real estate development companies across Texas. On paper, they're all successful, buying rundown properties, renovating them, and flipping them for massive profits. In reality, we suspect they're elaborate money laundering operations for several criminal enterprises ranging from drug trafficking to illegal gambling. The problem has been proving it. The man's careful, uses multiple shell companies and offshore accounts. We've been trying to catch him in the act of making a dirty deal, but so far, no luck. Could Luna really be involved in all this? The woman who cries at commercials with puppies? Who spent 3 weeks nursing a baby bird that fell from its nest in our balcony planter? I flip through photos of known associates of Coleman. Nothing jumps out until I reach a grainy surveillance photo from 6 months ago. Coleman at a charity gala with a woman whose face is partially obscured. She's wearing a distinctive bracelet with turquoise stones. I've seen that bracelet before. Luna has one just like it. With shaking hands, I pick up my phone and scroll through our photos together. There, from our anniversary dinner last year, Luna's wearing the bracelet, smiling across the table at me. I check the date of the surveillance photo again. That night, Luna told me she was at a weekend yoga retreat in Austin. I remember because I'd been planning to surprise her with tickets to a show she wanted to see, but had to return them when she said she'd be out of town. My stomach churns. How long has this been going on? Blackwater Coffee is crowded when I arrive at 1:45 p.m. I choose a table in the corner, with a clear view of both entrances, and order black coffee I don't plan to drink. Every nerve in my body is on high alert. At precisely 2 p.m., my phone buzzes with a text from the same unknown number. Table by the window. Black jacket. Reading newspaper. I scan the shop until I spot him. Middle-aged man, salt and pepper hair. Face him behind an actual printed newspaper, like some spy movie cliché. I make my way over and sit down across from him. He slowly lowers a paper, and I freeze in recognition. "Hello, John," says Martin Weiss, Luna's ex-boyfriend, the one with the restraining order. The credit card scammer I helped put away 3 years ago. "What the hell is this?" I hiss, instinctively reaching for my concealed weapon. He holds up his hands. "Easy. I'm not here to cause trouble. You're violating a restraining order, even being in the same city as Luna. Restraining order expired last year," he says calmly. "I've served my time, gotten clean, built a legitimate business. I'm not the same man you knew. Why should I believe anything you say?" Martin slides a manila envelope across the table. "Because I have proof of what your wife and Coleman are up to. I don't touch the envelope. And why would you help me?" His lips twist in a humorless smile. "Let's just say I don't like seeing history repeat itself." "Meaning?" "Your wife has a type, John. Men she can use." He taps the envelope. "Luna isn't the victim you rescued. She never was." "You're saying she used you too?" I can't keep the skepticism from my voice. Open the envelope. Against my better judgment, I do. Inside are bank statements, photos, and transcripts of text messages between Luna and Coleman going back over a year. My heart sinks as I skim through them. They detail a relationship that started long before I noticed anything wrong. But worse, they outline Luna's role in Coleman's schemes. According to these documents, Luna helps identify potential marks for Coleman's investment scams, mostly wealthy men who take her online classes or attend her workshops. She gains their trust, gets information about their finances, then feeds it to Coleman, who uses it to tailor his pitches to them. "This can't be real," I mutter, though the evidence is overwhelming. I run a cybersecurity firm now. Martin says, specialize in fraud detection. One of my clients got taken by Coleman. While investigating, I recognize Luna's methods. She did the same thing with me years ago, before you came along. I look up sharply. "What do you mean? You think our relationship was abusive? That you rescued her?" He laughs bitterly. "That's the story she told you, right? Poor Luna, trapped with a big bad boyfriend." The conviction in his voice makes my skin crawl. There was a police report. I saw the bruises. Self-inflicted. And that police report? Checked the dates against when she emptied my bank accounts. He leans forward. "Luna Vega is a con artist, John. Has been since before I met her. She finds men who want to save someone, lets them play hero, then bleeds them dry. If that's true, why am I not bankrupt? Why stay with me for 5 years when I'm just a government employee? Because you're her perfect cover. The straight arrow insurance investigator husband? No one would suspect her. Plus, I bet you handle all the bills, the mortgage, the day-to-day expenses while she's free to pursue her art, right?" I don't answer, which is answer enough. And now she's moved up to bigger fish. He nods at the documents. "Coleman's operation is massive. Your wife's cut must be substantial." My head is spinning. Why tell me this? Why not go to the police? "I did. They don't take ex-cons with grudges seriously." He shrugs. "Besides, I thought you want to know, given what you really do for a living." Ice shoots through my veins. "What are you talking about?" Martin smiles thinly. "Please, you think Luna doesn't know you work for the Financial Crimes Task Force? She's known from the beginning. It's why she targeted you." The ground seems to shift beneath me. If Luna knows who I really am, who I work for, that means Coleman knows too, Martin confirms, reading my expression. Has for months. "How do you know all this?" Like I said, cybersecurity is my business now. Information is my currency. He stands up, dropping a few bills on the table for his untouched coffee. "What you do with this information is up to you. But I'd move quickly if I were you. Word is Coleman's getting ready to liquidate assets and disappear. Luna will be going with him." As he walks past me, he places a hand briefly on my shoulder. "For what it's worth, I'm sorry. I know what it feels like to realize the woman you love never existed. I sit there long after he's gone, staring at the documents, my coffee growing cold. Everything I thought I knew about my life, my marriage, has been a lie. Luna didn't need saving. She was never the victim in this story. I was. Back at the apartment, I pull out our financial records. Looking at them with fresh eyes, I start to see patterns I missed before. Small discrepancies. Unexplained expenses. Nothing major. Luna was too smart for that, but signs nonetheless. I called Darius. I need you to run a background check on Luna. I say without preamble. Your wife? John, what's going on? Just do it. Full workup. And cross-reference with any other cases involving Coleman. This is crossing a line. She knows Darius. I cut him off. She knows who I really work for. And she's working with Coleman. Silence on the other end, then I'll see what I can find. But John, this goes to Walsh immediately after. Agreed. While waiting for Darius, I go through our photos together, our texts, our emails, looking for signs I missed. There's Luna on our honeymoon, smiling on a beach in Mexico. Luna at Darius's barbecue last summer, an arm slung casually around my shoulders. Luna asleep on our couch, a book fallen open on her chest. Had it all been an act? Every smile, every touch, every I love you? My phone rings, Darius. We need to talk in person, he says, his voice tight. Meet me at the office. 30 minutes later, I'm sitting in a conference room as Darius lays out what he's found. It's worse than I imagined. Luna Vega isn't her real name, he begins. She's actually Elena Vasquez. Has a record for fraud and identity theft in 3 states under various aliases. He slides a folder across to me containing booking photos of Luna, Elena, from arrests dating back nearly a decade. She's been working with Coleman for at least 3 years, based on financial trails we've uncovered. You were right about their operation. She identifies potential victims through her classes and workshops, gets personal information, passes it to Coleman. 3 years. I repeat numbly. We've only been married 5. Darius looks uncomfortable. There's something else. The timing of your meeting wasn't coincidental. The charity event where you met, Coleman was supposed to be there, but canceled last minute. You're saying she targeted me specifically? Because of my job. It looks that way. At the time, we just started looking into Coleman's operations. Having someone close to one of our investigators would have been valuable to them. The room seems to tilt slightly. Every memory of our relationship now tainted with this new knowledge. I'm sorry, John, Darius says quietly. Director Walsh enters the room, her face grim. Agent Statham, I understand we have a situation. I straighten up, try to regain some professional composure. Yes, Director. It appears my wife has been working with Coleman all along. I've been compromised. Yes, you have, she says bluntly. And ordinarily, I'd pull you from this case immediately. However, this presents a unique opportunity. An opportunity? I echo. Coleman doesn't know that we know about Luna's connection to him. We can use that. Understanding dawns. You want me to play along? Get information from Luna. Walsh nods. We need concrete evidence linking Coleman to money laundering operations. Your wife might be our best chance at getting it. Ex-wife, I correct automatically. Not yet, Walsh says. For this to work, Luna needs to believe everything is normal. That means you need to reconcile with her. The thought makes me sick. You want me to pretend I still love her? After all this? I want you to do your job, Agent Statham. Walsh's voice softened slightly. I know this is personal for you, but think about the bigger picture. Coleman has defrauded hundreds of people out of their life savings. He's laundered money for drug cartels responsible for countless deaths. We need to stop him. I stare at the photos of Luna spread across the table. The woman I thought I knew, the woman I still love, despite everything. What's the plan? I ask finally. Luna seems surprised when I call and ask to meet. We arrange to have dinner at a neutral location, a bustling Tex-Mex restaurant downtown, where the noise should cover our conversation. She's already seated when I arrive, nursing a margarita. She looks beautiful in a simple blue dress, hair pulled back in a way that highlights her cheekbones. It's hard to reconcile this image with the criminal Darius described. Hi, she says cautiously as I sit down. I wasn't sure you'd actually come. I almost didn't. I admit, that much is true at least. A server comes by with chips and salsa. I order a beer I don't intend to drink much of. I need to stay clear-headed. How are you? Luna asks after an awkward silence. Been better. I say with a humorless laugh. Finding out your wife is sleeping with another man will do that to you. She has the decency to look ashamed. John, No, please, I interrupt. Let me say something first. I take a deep breath. I've been doing a lot of thinking these past few days. About us. About what went wrong. Luna watches me warily. And I realize something. I continue. You were right. I've been safe. Predictable. I stopped seeing you. Really seeing you. The passionate, creative person you are. Her eyes widen slightly in surprise. I'm not saying what you did was right. I add quickly. But I understand better now why you felt the need to look elsewhere. Oh, she says softly, clearly not expecting this turn. I don't know what to say. I reach across the table for her hand, forcing myself not to recoil at the contact. I miss you, Luna. I want to try to fix this, if you'll give me a chance. She studies my face, and for a terrifying moment, I think she sees through the act. Then she turns her hand in mine, interlacing our fingers. I've missed you too, she says. But John, there's so much you don't know about me. You have no idea how right you are, I think. Then tell me. I say aloud. I want to know everything, Luna. The real you. No more secrets. She smiles sadly. It's not that simple. Because of Richard? I prompt, keeping my voice even. Luna sighs. Partly. It's complicated. Are you in love with him? The question hurts to ask, even knowing everything I know now. No, she says, and I'm surprised by how sincere she sounds. It's not like that. Richard is a business partner more than anything. The studio investment? I ask, playing dumb. Among other things. She bites her lip. John, I've been involved in some projects you might not approve of. I try to look confused rather than angry. What kind of projects? Investment opportunities. Real estate deals. She waves her free hand vaguely. It's all perfectly legal, just creative finance. Is that why you didn't tell me? You thought I wouldn't approve because it's creative? She nods. You're so by the book. I was afraid you'd overreact. I force a laugh. Luna, I investigate insurance fraud. I know all about creative finance. I might have been able to help you. Make sure everything was above board. You would have done that. Of course. I want you to succeed. I squeeze her hand. That's what partners do. They support each other. A flicker of something. Guilt? Regret? Crosses her face. I should have trusted you. Yes, you should have. I seize the opening. But it's not too late. Tell me about these investments now. Maybe I can still help. Luna hesitates, then nods slowly. Okay, but not here. She glances around the crowded restaurant. Come back to Richard's place with me. The files are there. I can show you what we've been working on. I feel a surge of triumph, quickly tempered by the realization of what she's suggesting. She wants to take me to Coleman's condo, right into the lion's den. Are you sure that's a good idea? Won't Richard mind? He's in Dallas until tomorrow night, she says. Business trip. We'll have the place to ourselves. The smart move would be to say no, to come up with an excuse, report back to Walsh, let the team plan a safe approach. But this might be our best chance to get the evidence we need. All right, I agree. Let's go. Luna smiles, relief evident on her face. She thinks she's pulling me in, that I'm falling for her act once again. Little does she know, I'm playing the same game now. As she pays the bill, insisting it's the least she can do, I discreetly text Darius. Going to Coleman's condo with Elle. Track my phone. Backup on standby. His reply comes seconds later. Copy. Be careful. In the elevator up to Coleman's penthouse, Luna stands close to me, her familiar perfume making my head swim with conflicting emotions. Part of me still wants to believe this is all some massive misunderstanding, that she's been coerced or manipulated by Coleman. But I know better now. Elena, has been playing me from the start. The elevator doors open directly into a stunning penthouse apartment with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Houston skyline. The place probably cost more than I'll make in my lifetime. Impressive, I say, trying to sound casual while mentally noting escape routes and potential hiding places for documents. Richard has good taste, Luna says, slipping off her heels by the door. She moves through the space with the ease of someone who's spent considerable time here. Drink? I could use something stronger than that margarita. Sure. She disappears into the kitchen while I take the opportunity to scan the living room. Expensive but generic art on the walls. No personal photos, I notice. Smart for a man who likely needs to leave town quickly if things go south. Luna returns with 2 glasses of whiskey. Richard's private reserve, she says, handing me one. 30-year single malt. I take a small sip, letting the liquor barely touch my lips. Delicious. Now about those investments. Right. She sets her glass down and leads me to a home office off the main living area. Everything's on Richard's computer, but I have access. He trusts me. I bet he does, I think bitterly. Luna sits at the desk and logs in. I position myself behind her, watching over her shoulder as she navigates through folders. She opens a spreadsheet showing property acquisitions and sales figures, all seemingly legitimate on the surface. See, we buy distressed properties through separate LLCs, she explains. Renovate minimally, then sell at inflated prices through a network of prearranged buyers. Property flipping. I observe. Nothing illegal about that. Exactly. She turns to smile at me, our faces inches apart. The profit margins are incredible, and it's all perfectly legal. Who are these buyers? I ask, pointing to a column of company names. Investors, mostly. Richard has connections all over the world. And what's your role in all this? She hesitates. I help identify properties with potential. And sometimes I help Richard connect with new investors. Through your dance classes, I say, try and keep my tone neutral. Sometimes, she admits. You'd be surprised how many wealthy men want to get in touch with their emotional side through movement. She laughs lightly. And do they know their instructor is feeding information about them to her business partner? Luna's smile falters slightly. I don't do anything unethical, John. I just make introductions. Richard does the rest. I nod toward the screen. Mind if I look at some of the other files? If I'm going to help, I need to understand the full operation. She hesitates, then stands in the chair. Help yourself. I'm going to freshen up my drink. As soon as she leaves the room, I pull out a specialized USB drive Darius gave me. It's loaded with software that can quickly copy and decrypt files. I plug it in and start a program running, then click through folders looking for anything incriminating while the drive works. There, a folder labeled Actual Financials. Inside are spreadsheets showing the true nature of Coleman's operation. Money coming in from known front companies for drug cartels, being laundered to the real estate transactions, then flowing out to offshore accounts. And there's Luna's name, her real name, Elena Vasquez, listed as a partner in multiple transactions, receiving substantial payments. I quickly take photos of the screen with my phone, just as I hear Luna returning. I close the folders and remove the USB drive, slipping it into my pocket as she enters. Find anything interesting? She asks, leaning against the doorframe with a fresh drink. Just try and get a sense of the scale. I say smoothly. It's impressive. It could be even more impressive with your help, she says, setting her drink down and approaching me. Your knowledge of fraud investigations would be valuable to us. Help us stay under the radar. She perches on the desk beside me, her leg brushing against mine. We could be a real team, John, the way we were meant to be. I look up at her. You want me to help you commit fraud? I want you to help us keep things legal, she corrects. Find the loopholes. That's what you're good at, right? Identifying weaknesses in the system. She's offered me exactly what we need, a way into Coleman's organization. If I accept, we could gather enough evidence to bring down the entire operation. But there's something else bothering me now. Did you ever love me? I ask, the question slipping out before I can stop it. Was any of it real? Luna's expression softens. She reaches out to touch my face gently. Of course it was real. It still is. But you target me. I press. Because of my job. Her hand freezes against my cheek. What are you talking about? You knew who I really worked for from the beginning. I say, watching her carefully. Not insurance. The Financial Crimes Task Force. Luna drops her hand, her eyes widening. For once, her surprise seems genuine. The what? Either she's an even better actress than I thought, or, you didn't know. I realize you really thought I was just an insurance investigator. She backs away from me slightly. John, what are you saying? Who do you work for? Before I can answer, her phone buzzes. She glances at it, and her face goes pale. We need to leave, she says abruptly. Now. What's wrong? Richard's coming back early. He's on his way here. She's already gathering her purse, clearly panicked. He can't find you here. I thought you said he was in Dallas until tomorrow. Plans changed. She grabs my arm. Please, John, if he finds you here, it'll be bad for both of us. The fear in her eyes seems real enough. But is she afraid for me, or for herself if Coleman discovers she's been showing me their files? Luna, I start, but she cuts me off. Not now. We need to go. I'll explain everything later. I promise. As we hurry toward the elevator, my phone buzzes with a text from Darius. Coleman just entered the building. Get out now. Luna punches the elevator button repeatedly. Come on, she mutters. The display shows the elevator ascending from the lobby. He's coming up. I say, tension coiling in my stomach. If Coleman finds me here, the entire operation could be blown, not to mention my cover. Luna looks around frantically, then grabs my hand. This way. She pulls me toward a service door that leads to the stairwell. 15 flights down, she says grimly. Think you can make it? We're 3 flights down when we hear the elevator ding above us and a door slam. Then Coleman's voice angry and loud. Elena! Luna freezes mid-step, her face a mask of terror. Move. I hiss, pushing her forward. Now. We race down the stairs as fast as we can, my hand firmly gripping Luna's arm. Above us, I hear the service door bang open and Coleman's footsteps on the metal stairs. I see you, he roars from above. You think you can betray me? Luna stumbles, nearly falling. I catch her around the waist, keeping her upright as we continue our descent. He knows, she gasps between breaths. Someone told him. Knows what? I demand, as we hit the 10th floor landing, that I was planning to leave, she says. Take the files. Turn states evidence. I nearly miss a step in shock. You what? Later, she urges. When we reach the ground floor, I push through the emergency exit, setting off an alarm. We emerge into an alley behind the building. My car's in the front. Luna says, panic in her voice. Too risky, I say, pulling out my phone to text Darius our location. This way. I lead her further down the alley, putting distance between us and the building. Within minutes, a black SUV pulls up at the end of the alley. Darius in the driver's seat. Luna balks when she sees him. Who's that? A friend. I say, opening the back door and practically shoving her inside. Get in. I climb in after her, and Darius peels away from the curb just as Coleman bursts out of the emergency exit, his face contorted with rage. What the hell is going on? Luna demands, looking between me and Darius. John, tell me the truth. Who are you really? Darius catches my eye in the rearview mirror, silently asking how I want to play this. I look at Luna, the woman I married, the woman who lied to me, the woman whom I've been planning to betray Coleman all along. My name is John Statham. I say, finally, special agent with the Financial Crimes Task Force. And you, Elena Vasquez, are under arrest for fraud, money laundering, and conspiracy. Luna, or Elena, stares at me, her face cycling through shock, betrayal, and finally something like resignation. You knew, she says quietly. How long? Not long enough. I reply, the bitterness I've been suppressing finally bleeding into my voice. A few days, but apparently that's longer than you've known about me. She looks out the window as Darius navigates us through downtown Houston traffic, putting distance between us and Coleman's rage. So this whole reconciliation was just an act to get evidence. Ironic, isn't it? I can't help the harsh laugh that escapes me. You married me under false pretenses, and now you're upset that I pretended to want you back. Darius clears his throat from the front seat. We need to get to the safe house. Coleman has connections throughout the city. Luna's head snaps up. Safe house? No, I'm not going to some government black site. Pull over. That's not how this works. I say firmly, you're a material witness in a federal investigation now. I'm your wife. Her voice rises, edged with desperation. Are you? I challenge. Because my wife's name is Luna Vega, not Elena Vasquez. My wife teaches dance. She doesn't defraud innocent people out of their life savings. She flinches like I've struck her. It's complicated, John. Then uncomplicated for me. Was anything real? Or was I just a convenient cover story? Luna looks down at her hands. I didn't know who you were when we met. That part wasn't planned. But staying with me was... I press. Marrying me was... She doesn't answer, which is answer enough. Tell me about the state's evidence. I say after a long silence. You told Coleman you were planning to turn on him? Luna glances at Darius, then back to me. Not here. He's my partner. Anything you tell me, he can hear. She shakes her head stubbornly. At the safe house. When we're alone, I exchange a look with Darius in the rearview mirror. He gives a slight nod. Fine, I concede. But you better have one hell of a story. The safe house is a nondescript apartment in a quiet neighborhood on the outskirts of the city. Standard issue. Sparse furnishings, reinforced doors, security system. I've used places like this dozens of times to house witnesses, but never imagined I'd be bringing my own wife to one. Darius helps us get settled, then leaves to report back to Director Walsh. The silence between Luna and me is deafening after he goes. I'm the woman who loves you, she says simply. Everything else, the names, the past, that's all just details. The one true thing in my life these past 5 years has been loving you. She reaches for my hand. I let her take it, though I don't return the gentle pressure of her fingers. Come with me, she pleads. We can start over. New names, new place. No more lies. I can't just walk away from my life, my career. You're a career investigating men like Richard, who will never stop coming. Is that really the life you want? Always looking over your shoulder. Never able to trust anyone. The irony of her questioning my ability to trust isn't lost on me. At least I know who I am. Luna's eyes fill with tears. I know who I am too, now. I'm the woman who was strong enough to turn against Richard Coleman, who was brave enough to tell the truth. Finally, she steps even closer, her face tilted up to mine. I'm the woman who wants a second chance. With you, for a dangerous moment, I almost believe her. Almost see a future where we could start again, rebuild on honesty instead of lies. But then I remember the files, the evidence of years of deception. I step back, gently pulling my hand from hers. I can't, Luna. Too much has happened. She drops to her knees suddenly, tears streaming down her face. Please, John, please forgive me. I'll do anything. I'll be anyone you want me to be. The desperation in her voice, the performance of it, only confirms what I already know. This is just another act, another manipulation. She's still trying to use me, to save herself. Ask God for that, I say coldly, repeating the line she'd used on countless marks before me. My God told me to move on. Her face crumples in genuine pain. For once, the emotion seems real, raw and unfiltered. Is there nothing left of what we had? She whispers. Nothing at all? I look down at this woman. I thought I knew. This woman I love with everything I had. This woman who never existed. Goodbye, Luna, I say quietly. John, she calls after me, her voice breaking. I'm sorry. For all of it. I truly am. I pause at the threshold, not looking back. I know. So am I. It's time to find out who John Statham really is, without the shadow of lies surrounding him. 6 months later, I'm sitting at a bar in downtown Houston, nursing a whiskey. Luna's testimony is complete. The U.S. Attorney's Office confirms her immunity deal. She'll avoid prosecution in exchange for her cooperation and testimony at trial, but will need to remain under protection until Coleman's case concludes. Coleman's trial is underway. Headline news on the muted TV above the bar. His lawyer is making a statement on the courthouse steps. Something about prosecutorial misconduct and tainted evidence. There is such a profession, robbing swindlers. And that's still my profession. But now I do it with clear eyes, knowing that sometimes the greatest deception isn't about money or power, but about the human heart, the lies we tell others and the lies we tell ourselves. I pour another whiskey and raise my glass to empty air. To new beginnings, I say to no one in particular, and drink alone in the quiet of my truth.